सब ठीक है ना? Everything is okay? You guys are in good spirits? Bar will open in 30 minutes. Okay, so you have something to look forward to. Thank you so much for having me here. Just a quick introduction. I am right now a stand-up comedian, but I spent about 18 years in corporate life. My last job was at Microsoft. I used to head the gaming and entertainment business, the Xbox business at Microsoft, till 2016. Then in 2016, I went and saw this movie called Tamasha. How many of you have seen Tamasha? Raise your hands. See, intelligent people. You saw Tamasha and you're still working. Because EMI bhi koi cheez hoti hai. I saw Tamasha, I got inspired yaar. I was looking at that movie, I was like, अरे यही करना है मुझे यार. True story, okay? I'm not even exaggerating. True story. In 2016, on a Sunday evening, I saw Tamasha. On Monday morning, I went to Microsoft and resigned. I was like, I have to follow my passion. Ranbir Kapoor. Monday morning when I got up, I told my wife, I said, I need to follow my passion. She was like, what? Artificial intelligence? I was like, no. Stand-up comedy. Gir gayi wo. Then she was like, talk to your parents. So I called my parents up. I told my parents, I said, I want to become a stand-up comedian. For some reason, they thought I'm joining Bollywood. My dad was like, beta, ye sab to theek hai, shaadiyon mein mat naachna. What? My mom was even better. She was like, Anshu, tumhe jo karna hai karo, Karan se dur rehna. Like, kya bol rahe ho yaar? But then I went, Monday morning I went to office and resigned. How many of you have ever resigned at work? I'm assuming pretty much anybody who's not resigned, raise your hands. Ever. Everybody's resigned, na? So I'll tell you my resignation story, okay? So Sunday night I saw Tamasha. Monday morning I was super excited, pumped up. I was like, I have to follow my passion. I reached office at 8 o'clock in the morning. Normally I reached office at 10 o'clock. That day I reached at 8 o'clock. Because तुम्हें पता है ना, जिस दिन resign कर रहे होते हैं, उस दिन जोश ही अलग होता है. So I reached at 8 o'clock. The first thing that I did, I opened my laptop and I typed in my resignation email. Now all of you have resigned. You know, right? When you type your resignation email, you don't send it out immediately. तुम थोड़ा pause लेते हो, तुम office घूम के आते हो, you'll be like, oh, I'll miss my colleagues, I'll miss my coffee machine, I'll miss my, whatever it is, right? But I was inspired, Ranbir Kapoor. I was like, I have to resign. So I looked at my resignation one last time and I pressed the send button. Now the moment I pressed the send button, no, I thought Microsoft would shut down with immediate effect. मेरे को लगा some background music will start playing, everybody will start running helter skelter, Anshu has resigned, Anshu has resigned. ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. In fact, just when I sent my resignation email, I got an email from a colleague of mine saying urgent response required. I was like, अब नहीं देता मैं. तू खेल, मैं चला. And होता है ना, right? When you resign, एक बार तो मन करता है ना, like you've all been there, you know that. एक बार मन करता है ना कि negotiations हो. I mean, come on, let's admit it, यार. असली औकात कंपनी में तभी पता लगती है when you resign. All these performance appraisals are a sham, whichever company you are from. I'm telling you, कुछ पैसा वैसा नहीं मिलता. You will do 120% target, annual appraisal meeting, you will be sitting with your boss. Boss, I did 120% target. He'll find some reason not to give you money. He'll be like, yeah, very good, 120% target, but this year, cross-group collaboration was missing. पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे. So, असली औकात कंपनी में तभी पता लगती है when you resign. I had resigned. I was waiting for my boss to respond. My boss called me up immediately. He was like, Anshu, let's meet. I was like, आजा. I was like, आजा, आज मैं दिखाता हूँ boss कौन है. So I walked into the conference room. I was sitting there. He was sitting there with a very serious look on his face. Okay, so I sat there. The first thing he said to me, he was like, Anshu, I am shocked you are leaving. I had spent 11 years at Microsoft. 11 years, okay. And he was like, I am shocked you are leaving. I was like, boss, आपने वो movie देखी है, Raz? He was like, वो बिपाशा बासु. I said, नहीं, उसको छोड़ो. उसमें एक रामू काका थे जो हवेली के चौकीदार थे. उनको पता था हवेली में भूत है, वो फिर भी चौकीदारी करते थे. आपको लगा मैं रामू काका हूं, यहीं पड़ा रहूंगा? He was like, no, Anshu, no, we had big plans for you. I was like, दिखे तो नहीं? मुझे भी बता रहे थे. I was in full mood. Today he will beg and plead, we will negotiate. At one point he asked me, he says, so Anshu, what are you planning to do? So I told him, I said, I'm starting things on my own. He was like, Arey wow, I love people who start things on their own. Please go. I'm like, what negotiation? No negotiation, just go. And you know what is the worst thing that can happen to you in a resignation discussion with your boss? Your boss turning around and saying, यार कोई opportunity होगी ना तो मुझे भी बताइयो. Like, ये लेता था मेरा Monday morning को review. So I left Microsoft, and then somebody told me that if you have to become an artist, you have to sit in a coffee shop with a laptop. Okay, then you give the artist vibe. So I used to sit in a coffee shop. I used to do nothing, okay? I used to just sit in the coffee shop. And initially, like first couple of months, I used to miss corporate life. I know it is very hard for you to believe that. But I used to miss corporate life. Like not everything about corporate life. Like a few things. Like I used to miss international travel a lot. Like initially as a comedian, you don't get to travel now when you're just starting off. International, and I'm talking about company paid international travel. Not personal. Difference मालूम है ना? तुम सब ने किया हुआ है ना? पर्सनल वाले पे तुम एयरपोर्ट पे कुछ नहीं पीते हो. कंपनी वाले पे पहले कॉफी पिएंगे, फिर ब्रेकफास्ट खाएंगे, फिर कॉफी पिएंगे. Right? So I used to miss international travel. And what I know, like it must have happened to you, right? Once in a while when you're traveling international, galti se you get upgraded to business class. है ना? Like ऐसे freak business class upgrade हो जाता है, right? तुम्हारे boarding pass पे आ जाता है business class. औकात तुम्हारी वही रहती है, economy class. I still remember very early in my career, okay, I was traveling somewhere and I got upgraded to business class. That was my first time in business class. So I was standing in that special boarding line of business class folks. Na? I was a young kid, I just started working. So I was standing and I was looking around all these regular business class people. They were all talking intelligent things. ऐसे global economy, oil prices, पता नहीं क्या-क्या बातें कर रहे थे. Not me. I was just standing there looking at the economy line. Waiting for eye contact. Jesse, one guy looked at me and I was like, Garib aadmi. So I used to miss that, yeah. The other thing, there's one thing that I still miss about corporate life. I've done this now for 7.5 years in entertainment business. I still miss that, yeah, about corporate life. And those used to be those email fights. What do you call work? कितना मजा आता था यार ऑफिस में. It doesn't happen in entertainment business यार. ऑफिस में कितना मजा आता था. You will send an email to a colleague, there will be a slight disagreement, they will send an email back, then you will send another email back, then again all polite language, okay, I beg to differ, those. Then suddenly that colleague would CC the boss, and then all hell breaks loose, because then you have to win the argument. So you are typing, she's typing, you are typing, and she's just CCing everyone. Boss की बीवी, boss के बच्चे, boss के मामा जी, सबको CC कर रहे हैं. तुम्हारी fight चले. And the amazing thing is she's sitting right next to you. But you're doing this enough. And होता ना in those email fights, like you spend the whole day fighting on that one email chain. And then at the end of that thing now, you will realize you've lost the argument. And then you would send that final email. Let's take this offline. I miss that, yeah. So anyway, I used to sit in a coffee shop. So initially I had no idea, okay, how to become a stand-up comedian, like what's the process or whatever. So somebody got me, after a month or so, somebody got me introduced to this comedian, you must know him, Amit Tandon. Right? So somebody got me introduced, I met him for coffee and I was asking him, I said, how do you write jokes here? Tell me, how do you write? So he was like, very simple, yeah. Just carry a notepad with you, jahan pe bhi thought I likh de. I was like, this is so much simpler than corporate life. So मैं यही करता था, मेरे को thought आती थी मैं लिख देता था, thought आती थी मैं लिख देता था. One day I looked at those thoughts. I was like, Microsoft वापस लेगा क्या? So today, just for fun, I thought I'll share like 2-3 thoughts with you right now, okay? Just also to test your humor level. Okay? This is your test only. So these are just random thoughts. I've written them and I'll tell you where and how. These are not even properly written jokes, okay? But I'll tell you where and how. You're fine with that? Yeah? अरे एनर्जी दिखाओ ना, you fine ना? Okay. So first thought, and these are just thoughts, okay? This one just says, I'm from Delhi. ये जो भी हंस रहे हैं ना, ये सब बॉम्बे वाले. How many of you from Delhi? Raise your hands. People from Delhi? Very few, ना? And Mumbai guys, Mumbai folks? हाँ, ये देखो, ये सब हंस रहे थे अभी. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody has this very wrong impression about Delhiites here. Like just outside Delhi, everybody hates Delhiites. I don't know why. Like we are such नहीं cultured तो नहीं बोलूंगा, but हम ठीक ही लोग हैं यार. I swear, when I do a show in Mumbai, now the first thing I say on stage, okay, public shows, the first thing I say on stage is, I am from Delhi. वो लोग पागलों की तरह हंसना शुरू कर देते हैं. Look, Delhi. Once I was doing a show, I said, I am from Delhi. One girl in the audience goes, "Oh." So I met her after the show. I was like, what was that awe for? She was like, you Delhiites, you guys only talk about money. I was like, no, that's not true. I have money. I don't talk about it. And she was like, so what do you talk about? I said, I can talk about anything. She was like, give me an example. I said, I can talk about my dog. She was like, you mean cat? I was like, नहीं, हमारे ना घर बड़े होते हैं तो हम dogs रखते हैं. So she was like, okay, tell me something about your dog, but only about your dog. I said, yeah, 100%. So I started telling her. I was like, every day na, when I come back in the evening, na, at that point, my dog is playing in the playground. Okay, he's a Labrador, very cute. Okay, and that happiness on his face, na, like his tongue comes out, his tail starts wagging every time he sees my high-end Mercedes coming in. Na. Arey kya? I'm not showing off. It is about his happiness. यार तभी Delhiites का impression खराब है यार. तुम लोग समझते नहीं हो. Okay, next one. This is another thought that I wrote. This one just says collective dumbness, Ratan Shukla. Okay, that's all it says. Let me explain. Collective dumbness is a state where a group of people decide to behave dumb at the same time for no apparent reason. Okay, not this group. Generally a group of people, okay? So this happened at an airport where I wrote this thought, okay? So my airport pe we were standing boarding area, everybody was waiting to board, there was a big crowd there, and suddenly there was a paging announcement made. Paging for Ratan Shukla. Ratan Shukla, please. Paging for Ratan Shukla. And all of us took out our boarding passes. Even I did. like, कहीं मैं रतन तो नहीं. That's when I wrote this. Okay, third one. You guys are a good audience here. Okay, third one. This one just says overthinking stuff. Hey, tell me one thing. Do you guys believe that ever since social media has really come up, right? Last 10, 14 years, whatever, right? All of us have started overthinking stuff. Like everybody's become philosophical. Everybody wants to give gyan. No, everybody's got, like I think, and all these things about anxiety, everybody, like people these days have depression if they don't have depression. I'm telling you, recently a friend of mine called me up, he was like, bro, I think I have depression. I was like, no, you've seen Adi Purush. Give it time, 2 दिन में ठीक हो जाएगा तू. All of us are overthinking stuff these days. The other day I was eating breakfast. Okay, मैं घर पे breakfast खा रहा था, I picked up a toast. And the toast slipped from my hand and fell on the floor. I got philosophical. I was looking at the toast, I'm like, what if this is a sign from God? And then my dog came, took the toast and ran off here. And he was so happy because he got a full toast. Out of sheer happiness, he started running around the house. So he ran to all the 4 bedrooms with attached balconies and the study and the... अरे happiness के बारे में बोल रहा हूँ मैं. Okay, next one. This one, okay, is there any true blue NRI in the audience? Any true blue NRI? Koi nahi hai? Somebody is looking at the back. Who do you think is it? You're an NRI. What's your name, sir? Nikhil. And when did you come back to India? Oh, you're on a trip. So, this is the first time you've come back ever since you left? You keep coming back, na? When was the first time you came back? 2018. This is my observation about Nikhil and his clan of NRIs. And notice this carefully, okay? Comedians are very intelligent people. We observe a lot. When NRIs like Nikhil come to India after a long time or for the first time, na, notice them carefully, they develop some kind of a neck disease. What is? I'm telling you. Notice them. The moment they land in India, na, their neck goes like this. इनको ना कुछ अच्छा नहीं लग रहा होता. So we recently, I was in a flight from Bombay to Delhi, and there was this NRI guy, Nikhil के जैसा ना NRI guy who had come to India for the first time after he had left. So वो बैठा हुआ था. So जैसे ही flight दिल्ली में land हुई, हम सब खड़े हो गए because DTC बस ना कभी भी चल पड़ती है दोबारा. That NRI guy was very flustered looking at all of this. Yeah. He had that look on his face. He was like, "Oh my God, bloody Indians! I tell ya." वो उस टाइप का look दे रहा था. So I saw him. I was like, "चल ठीक है, it's okay." Then we went inside the airport and I went to the baggage claim area. And I was standing there. I was waiting for my bags. Bags were coming from my right. I was quietly waiting. Okay. Then this NRI guy came and stood on my left, and he was talking to somebody in full panic mode. He was like, "Bro, this is India, man. I'm gonna lose my bags. This is India, man. I'm not gonna get my bags, man. I'm telling you, this is India, man. I'm not gonna." वो पता है इतने पैनिक में था. I was like, जब तक bags आएंगे ये तो मर जाएगा यार. So as a good citizen, I thought I should speak to him. Right? So bags were coming from the right. This guy was standing on my left. I just looked at him and I was like, भाई साहब, ये कोई सा भी बैग उठा सकते हैं क्या? That look on his face was gold यार. पता ये अब मैं हर एयरपोर्ट पे ट्राई करता हूं. अब तो मुझे फर्क भी नहीं पड़ता एनआरआई है कि नहीं है. कोई भी खड़ा होता है मैं उससे पूछ लेता हूं. आई एम टेलिंग यू, देखो, यू गाइस आर कॉर्पोरेट गाइस, ओके? आई अंडरस्टैंड दिस. यू हैव टू मेंटेन अ सर्टेन डेकोरम इनसाइड ऑफिस, आउटसाइड ऑफिस. आई अंडरस्टैंड ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स, ओके? बट जिंदगी में मरने से पहले किसी एयरपोर्ट पे ये ट्राई करके देखना यार. इतना मजा आता है ना. Every single time I have done this, okay? Bags would be coming from the right, somebody would be standing on my left. The moment I say, na, bhai sahab, koi sa bhi bag uta sakte hain kya? Immediately that person moves from my left to my right. Oh man. My son went to college. I recently turned 50 here. I'll have a condolence meeting later. How many of you are above 50 out here? People who are above 50? Just a few. Anybody who's like in their 20s out here? Nope. You're in your 20s? How? You're not? अच्छा, mind. यहाँ पे दर्द हो रहा है अभी? That is when you start talking. I don't know, man. I recently turned 50, man. I'm not taking this well. I'm in full panic mode here. Everything has changed. My looks have changed. I used to be very good looking. Arey, don't laugh. I was, yaar. 2-3 years back, I had an actual jawline here. Now I have lines. And they're not around my jaw. वो आंखों के नीचे यहाँ जब भी मैं शीशे में देखता हूँ एक नई लाइन आ जाती है. It's like my body is underlining all the parts which are gone now. I'm telling you, I was very good looking, yaar. I was so good looking, I never made a mistake. They were all opportunities to learn. Nobody ever got angry with me. People don't get angry with good-looking people. You know that, corporate life. Mein. Nobody, I'm telling you, yaar. Like some of you women are sitting ekdam aise seriously and all. 2-3 years back, you all would have been laughing your ass off, yaar. Because you wouldn't be looking at, like, listening to my jokes. You would just be looking at me. I'm telling you, I was that good looking. 3 years ago, yaar, I used to do a set on feminism. Can you imagine 15 minutes of jokes on feminism? Not a single woman ever got angry. Last month I tried it. Men got angry. My bedside table used to be so fancy, yaar. It had books and gadgets and hopes and dreams. Yaar. Now my bedside table looks like a mini chemist shop. Yaar. I'm telling you, मैं रोज सुबह उठता हूं मुझे कहीं ना कहीं दर्द हो जाता है. तुम यंग लोग होते हो ना 20s 30s वाले, तुम्हें दर्द होता है, तुम सोते हो, तुम उठते हो, तुम ठीक हो जाते हो. मैं ठीक होता हूं, मैं सोता हूं, मैं उठता हूं, मुझे दर्द हो जाता है. The other day I got up, I had no pain in my body. I was like, oh my God, I am dead. मेरे को लगा मैं मर गया यार. My wife was there with me. I was like, pinch me. We've been married for too long. So she took the opportunity. She whacked me on my head. फटाक करके यार. And the amazing thing was she hit me on my head. मेरे knees में दर्द होना शुरू हो गया. I was like, ये कौन सा connection है यार? Then we went to the doctor. वो doctor ने X-ray दिया. He was looking at the X-ray. He was like, oh ho ho ho. Oh ho ho ho. Oh ho ho ho. I was like, भाई साहब आप सुखबीर के गाने क्यों गा रहे हो? मुझे बताओ ना. He was like, no, I don't understand. I was like, Google कर ले फिर यार. He was like, no, I know what this is. It's called anterolateral ligament, but this body part only was discovered 5 years ago. आपको दर्द कैसे हो गया इसमें? I was like, oh my God. यार. Have you ever been to a doctor जिससे कुछ भी पूछो वो Google करता है चीजें? No. अभी ना recently my wife and I we went to the orthopedic. जैसे तुम young लोग जाते हो ना every week lounge bar. हमारी एज में we go to the orthopedic. Okay, we have our thank God it's ortho day. So we went to the orthopedic, okay? So we were sitting in his room. My wife had some pain in her arm and all. So we were sitting in his room and we were asking questions. मैं उससे कुछ भी question पूछता था ना, he would go to the screen, he would Google the question, then he would look at the answer, turn the screen, look at me and he would go, पढ़ ले. I was like, ये तो मेरी मम्मी भी कर सकती है यार, तो क्या कर रहा है? And then he was one of those, have you met those doctors who are like jovial doctors who've been around forever, like late 60s, early 70s wale doctors jo hote na? And they're happy, they all want to crack jokes and all. And ridiculous jokes, okay? So my wife told him कि मेरे आर्म में ना बहुत दर्द हो रहा है. And he was like, madam, असली दर्द तो दिल में होता है. I was looking at him, I was like, यार comedian मैं हूं. तू अपना काम करना. तेरे को अच्छा लगेगा तू मेरे शो पे आएगा मैं तेरी सर्जरी कर दूं. गंदे गंदे jokes मारा था. So at one point he told my wife, he said, give me your arm. My wife went like this. I was like, रुक जा बहन क्या करे बहन. So he was like, no, only one arm. So she did this, okay? And he held her hand from the other side and he was pressing it backwards to check for the pain. I mean, they do it this way, okay? So he was checking. We were in his room, okay? There was nobody else. Just 3 of us, and he was doing this for good 4-5 minutes, dead silence in the room. At one point, even my wife got uncomfortable. And she was like, how long will you do this for? And he picked up, वो छोटे से hammer होते हैं ना doctors के पास. He picked up one of those hammers, hit her on the elbow, and he goes, knock, knock. And my idiot wife goes, who's there? And he goes, ortho. And she was like, ortho who? And he goes, और थोड़ी देर लगेगी. I was like, ये वाला अच्छा था यार. I don't know, man. How many of you are in your 30s and all? People in 30s now? This group now, I know what you're thinking right now. Okay, I know what, are you from IBM or like, you're from outside? I know what you're thinking. You say age, wage, or we have lots. कुछ time नहीं है तुम्हारे पास. Who's the 50-year-old out here? Anybody? 50-year-old? Abhi raise your hands. What's your name, sir? At the back? Vijinder. धीरे धीरे हाथ नीचे करना. मैं तुम्हें समझाऊं तेरा नाम क्या है? हाँ तू ही. Ankit, how old are you? एक तो we hate you. Okay, clear skin, functioning legs. But Ankit तेरे को लग रहा ना मैं ऐसे 50s के बच्चे को दर्द समझाता हूँ हम लोगों का, okay? All you 50 years old जितने भी हैं ना उनका दर्द समझाता हूँ. How we feel on a daily basis. Everywhere we go ना, everybody is younger than us. तेरे को नहीं समझ आएगा. You're too young for this. Let me explain, okay? देख तू imagine कर. तू कल सुबह उठता है, तू एक कॉफी शॉप में जाता है, ठीक है? तू जैसे ही कॉफी शॉप में घुसता है ना वहां 5-5 साल के छोटे छोटे बच्चे बैठे होते हैं. फिर तू इरिटेट हो जाता है. फिर तू अपने ऑफिस में घुसता है. जैसे ही ऑफिस में घुसता है वहां 5 साल के छोटे छोटे बच्चे सीनियर पोजीशन पे बैठे होते हैं. ठीक है? फिर तू फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाता है. फिर तू एक लाउंज बार में जाता है, वहां 5-5 साल के छोटे छोटे बच्चे डांस कर रहे होते हैं. एंड दे आर डांसिंग ऑन ट्विंकल ट्विंकल लिटिल स्टार. एंड देन दे विल आर्ग्यू विद यू, ट्विंकल ट्विंकल लिटिल स्टार इज बेटर देन पिंक फ्लॉयड. तू समझ रहा है वो दर्द? दिस इज व्हाट वी फील ऑन अ डेली बेसिस यार. आई वांट टू फॉरगेट दैट आई एम 50 यार. मेरा भी ऐसे आई वांट दिस थिंग यार. मेरा माइंड कह रहा है आई एम 20. नथिंग, कुछ नहीं होता यार. पीपल डोंट लेट मी फॉरगेट दिस थिंग दैट आई हैव टर्न 50. एक तो तुम्हें पता ना गवर्नमेंट और कॉमेडियंस का हमेशा लफड़ा रहता है. आई स्टे इन गुड़गांव यार. एवरी टाइम आई एम ड्राइविंग ना, गवर्नमेंट हैज पुट अप दी साइंस 50. Everybody that I meet here. And you know, also, abhi recently, we shifted into an apartment complex, okay? Recently. So we shifted into an apartment complex, and उस apartment complex में ना, गुड़गांव में, everybody is of my age, okay? Late 40s, early 50s. So when we met na, for the first time, we immediately became best friends. Okay? Because at our age, na, it is, we are too exhausted to get to know each other. जैसे अंकित तेरी एज में होता है ना, when you're 30s and all, you meet whatever, right? Tinder पे जिस पे भी मिलते हो तुम. right? You want to get to know about the other person. You'll ask questions, and then you explain about your past. And तुम्हारी होती भी छोटी-छोटी बेकार सी issues हैं. I was bullied in school. Oh, I have still not found love. See, we can't do it at our age. Because if we start talking like that, now dark shit will come out. There is a huge difference between I still haven't found love and I have never found love. तो समझ रहे हैं ना? I'm telling you, man, it's not good. So we met these people, became friends and all. I don't identify with these people, yeah. These 50-year-olds, I'm so sorry. But I don't. I mean, these guys talk about random things here. Half of them are into spirituality. मेरे को spirituality का मतलब नहीं पता था यार. I swear, I used to think spirituality was about ghosts. I was at a party, this guy walked up to me, he was like, bro, I'm thinking of getting into spirituality. I was like, you must. And you must start with conjuring. And the women in our apartment complex, okay, all of them also same age, right? Late 40s, early 50s. They have a WhatsApp group in the apartment complex. It is called Divas. When I first heard about it, I thought Diyas hai. I was like, ठीक ही है, उम्र हो गई है पूजा पाठ की. Divas! I told my wife to join. I said, join कर, मुझे देखना क्या है इसमें. So she joined. I was reading the messages. Maid hasn't come. I was like, रहने दे. Divas. Random people, yeah. One of my friends is having an extramarital affair. Raise your hands if you're having extramarital affairs. कोई भी नहीं है यहाँ पे. I understand him, yeah. I understand. He's having an extramarital affair. So I was asking him the other day, how do you have one? Arey, for comedy research. And these are the friends that I have. Okay, he was actually seriously telling me how to have one. He was like, bro, first of all, now you have to meet at places where nobody goes. You can't meet at places where everybody goes. So you have to meet at places where nobody goes. I was like, chal, theek hai, CCD, aage bata. And then he was like, also, you have to be very careful in messaging. And this is what he does with his whatever girlfriend, okay? She's also married. When he has to send her a message, na, he first sends her a dot as a message, like a full stop dot. Then she responds with a dot. And that means it is safe to chat. तुम्हारी conferences में ये सब discuss होता है? Notes बनाओ, I'm telling you, genius है यार ये लोग. अभी ना 2018 में ना my son went to college, okay, and he like 2019 में he went to college. He went to Mumbai to study. So when we were going to, like when he was going now for the first time, we were all, obviously we went to the airport to drop in him. We only have one son. Okay, so everybody at the airport was crying. And everybody was there, okay? My wife, Monica, was there, and my family was there, her family was there, everybody was, and all of them were crying. They were crying because look, son leaving for the first time. I was also crying. I was crying because अब बीवी से बात करनी पड़ेगी. Like इसी के लिए बच्चा करते हैं ना कि आपस में बात ना करनी पड़े. What? I'm the only one? अरे छोड़ो. किसने बच्चा किया यहाँ प्यार के लिए? नहीं देखा किसी का हाथ नहीं आया ऊपर. अरे I'm telling you, this is why we have kids, yeah, so that we don't have to talk to each other. Like when I got married now, Monica and I really used to fight, yeah, really used to fight. Then we had a kid. Then we got united against the kid. So the same friend, yeah. Okay, so he walked up when like Surya went now for the first time. So in the evening we came home. We were having a drink. He came over. He was like, "Ab to bachcha gaya. Now you should rekindle romance." I was like, "Tera dimag kharab hua." I have reached that age where I can't say I love you emotionally. कौन बोलता है यार शादी में I love you? यहाँ पे कोई है? Anybody out here who's been married for some decent amount of time who says I love you to their spouse? Raise your hands. Anybody out here? You say it, sir. What's your name? Vaibhav. Vaibhav का extramarital affair चल रहा है. Vaibhav, did you realize you were the only one who raised this? कौन करता है यार ये सब? इसके WhatsApp चेक करो यार. ये डॉट आ रहे हैं तेरे भी, मैं बता रहा हूं तेरे को. Nobody says I love you here. Who says I love you in the marriage? You only say I love you when you're messed up somewhere else. In a marriage, I love you is just a preamble to I'm sorry. ऐसे मेरे दोस्त हैं यार, बताओ. What do you guys talk about here when you meet your friends and all, young people? What do you guys talk about? You talk about good things, na? You'll talk about Premier League and IPL and, movies and music and stuff like that. When I meet these guys now, all of them start talking about death now. They're like, यार time हो गया यार, कभी भी मर. अरे पागल हो गए हो यार. I mean, and also now at our age, na, he would know, right? At our age, more people leave you than come into your life. है ना? And leave you, matlab they don't leave the job or the city. They just die. Abhi recently, I had a friend who died paragliding. I had another friend who died swimming. The other day, my wife was asking me, she was like, can you change the light bulb? I was like, no. I am not into extreme sports. So, and because of these guys, now I've started thinking about death a lot here. Unnecessarily. I'm thinking about how and where I would die. Like a lot of people say, I want to die suddenly and all. I don't want to die suddenly here. I need time to erase browsing history, delete messages. वो गंद कौन साफ करेगा? I think about where I would die here. As we are comedians here, as comedians we travel every night here and we literally stay in hotel rooms. So I'm pretty sure when I'm going to die now, I'm going to die in a hotel room. 100%. I just want to die in a 5-star hotel room. Because we also travel to Kanpur now, we'll stay in some lucky inn. I don't want to die there, yaar. Can you imagine मेरे दोस्त कितना मजाक उड़ाएंगे मरने के बाद? यार lucky inn? कहता तो था career अच्छा जा रहा है इसका. And these days people have started giving speeches and all after you die ना, they give speeches and all. I'm telling you, all of you, note this, okay? Just be nice to everyone. जिसको order देना अभी दे देना. यही आएंगे speech देने बता रहा हूँ. Because they do that, the Western culture, they'll give speeches and all. So I think about what people will say about me, and I get very worried. I want to be nice to everyone because of that. Can you imagine ऐसे मेरा whatever prayer meeting चल रहा होगा, and my wife Monica would come on stage and she'd be like, so Anshu is dead, food is served. And then she'll look around, does anybody want to say anything about Anshu? And there'll be dead silence. Then she'll look at a group of my best friends sitting there, do you guys want to say anything about Anshu? They'll just be looking at each other, nahi yaar, tu ja, mera to iतना अच्छा दोस्त भी नहीं था ये. Then one of my best friends from second grade, Alok, okay, he would come up on stage. His only problem is he says the wrong thing at the wrong time. Okay, so imagine now there's a prayer meeting going on, my prayer meeting. Alok comes on stage and he starts giving a speech. Okay, this is his speech. And when we're up, ऐसे photo लगा होगा. So he would look at the photo, he'll be like, let's look at the positive side. Better him than any of us. Anshu always used to say that he's going to die in a hotel room. It was just so sad that he was beaten to death at a baggage claim. Also, he was not that funny. He had this stupid joke. He would tell me, Alok, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. I could never understand it, but he would always insist, Alok, it's a joke, it's a joke. Like he would send a message to my wife with just a dot. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, guys. My name is Anshu Moore. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me over. Have a lovely evening. Thank you so much.